The first time I went wild swimming, cold water swimming as an adult, I think it was March in Ireland and it was really cold.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't get above 18, and in the winter it can go down to kind of 8, anywhere between 7, 8 degrees, depending where on the coastline. But yeah, we get some really cold waters.
Yeah, I think even in the summer months, you know, we're talking a lot about cold water swimming, but even in the summer months, that like 18 degrees is so much colder than a swimming pool, which is probably closer to 30.
The pool I swim in is 30. Yeah. And if you think about the body temperatures like 36.5, going into 18 degrees water is still a real shock on your body.
Hence why getting in slowly, acclimatizing, breathing.
Yeah, definitely. And all those things are great as well, because not only is the getting in slowly and then breathing, it's actually a really great life skill.
You know, water, anything under kind of 15 degrees, you're susceptible to hypothermia.
Yeah.
So wetsuit, depending on the time of the year, swim hat, swim float, and the means to contact someone if you do get into trouble. So a mobile phone inside a waterproof case is always ideal. And those tow floats, are they right that they've got a little pocket you can get the phone into?
Yeah.
So perfect. So carry some of your kit, you can be seen with those tow floats, and if you do get in trouble, you can cling hold of them.
And who do we call if we're going to trouble?
999, ask for the Coast Guards, and the key message if you are in trouble in the water is stay calm, control your breathing, and float to live is the phrase that we're going with now, which is basically floating on your back, staying nice and calm, waiting for help to come to you.
Looking out the window today, I think one really important piece of advice is to check the weather before you go. Today we've got absolutely massive surf, really strong winds, really dangerous conditions for swimming.
Yeah, exactly that. Know what you're putting yourself into.
I also think at the moment, because open water swimming and cold water swimming and wild swimming is so popular, I think people like extremes. So we would never even dream, even though we're really experienced open water swimmers, never dream of going in conditions like this. Absolutely not.
I've been swimming in the sea for 25 years, maybe more.
No.
And yeah, I would not go in the sea for a swim today.
No. So it's almost as important to know when to go, how to go, and also when to say no.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, choose your spots wisely, know your environment. Exactly, be aware of those hazards.
I think one of the other things that people quite often forget, especially as you're saying under 15 degrees or lower, definitely hypothermia, we can talk about that in a second, but also the cold shock response.
Cold water shock is basically when you enter cold water, the natural response is for your breathing rate and your heart rate to dramatically increase. And what that looks like is, and you start hyperventilating. Hyperventilating in the sea, obviously really dangerous. Mm-hmm. So the main thing you can do is just to be prepared to go in nice and slowly. You don't dive straight in, and control your breathing. If you do long, slow exhales, helps to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, down-regulates you, keeps you nice and calm, tricks your body into thinking everything's okay. So as I go in, I just really focus on that kind of breathing. Yeah. Any other advice on cold shock?
No, it's just that everybody experiences it every time. So you might have gone in the water before and it was 10 degrees as an example. You might have felt it and thought, oh, it's fine, I know what I'm doing. And then you go in and it's 8 degrees. It will be just as shocking to your system. The lower the temperatures go and the higher they go. So I think everyone thinks because they've been in once before, they don't need to, but it's a physiological response, the cold shock response that we feel every time. So just be prepared, have a routine. Like we made coffee this morning before we were thinking of going in. We've decided not to go in, but that's part of our routine. Same thing with the cold, as you say, go in, make sure you breathe and don't push it. Like if we're going to go out and have some fun in the ocean, there's no need to push it, go in so fast, just go nice and steady. My rule of thumb is always to get out wanting more. So that kind of for me stops me from getting too cold. If I've got too cold in the water, I know that's really bad. So I always get out wanting more, which works really well for me. But if you do sort of go down the hypothermia route and you start getting too cold and you start shivering, shivering's normal. Shivering's our body's normal, natural response to getting cold and how it warms us up. But if we get too warm too quickly, as in we warm our skin, so you know if you've been in and you've got hypothermia, don't go and have a hot shower or a bath. Wait until your body naturally warms up because
nice warm clothes,
loads of warm clothes, dry robes, loads of jackets, woolly hats, all that kind of stuff. Warm drink as well. That's why we made our coffees this morning. Make sure you have that because that's going to help us a little bit on the inside, feel nice and cozy.
So I think that wanting more is really good advice because with the after drop, your core temperature continues to drop for maybe 20 minutes after you get out the cold water. So if you're feeling cold in the water, your temperature is going to continue to drop. It's conductive cooling, so the cold on the outside takes a while to penetrate in. So even once you get out the water and you've got your warm layers on and you're having your warm drink, your temperature's still dropping. So really, I always say to people, 2 minutes is plenty.
Yeah.
A lot of the scientific research on cold water is done on just 2 minutes immersion. You don't need to stay in for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. A quick dip is all you need, and it leaves you feeling amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, something that's really important as well for swimmers is to understand, especially the wild swimming side of things, understand why and what it is that you're doing. I think there's so many things out there, so many people doing amazing things on social media, but if your goal is to get that post-swim high that we see loads of people talking about, as you're saying, physiologically that happens within 2 minutes. You only need to be in for 2 minutes to get that high. The longer you're in, the colder you get. The colder you get, the more tired you get.
Yeah.
So if your goal is to get the post-swim high, you don't even need to go all the way in, even up to your knees. It's still sufficient enough to give you that boost of that cold swim, kind of post-swim high. So it you don't need to be in that
I
long.
think we'd get the post-swim high in about 20 seconds today.
Yeah, this is it. Something that we're seeing with the RNLI with regard to the cold water swimming is if people do push it to too long,
Yeah.
muscles start to cramp up, they lose that ability to make good decisions, and things go downhill quite quickly.
So I would say when you're cold water swimming somewhere, know your exit point, whether you're in a river or a lake or a pool, know where the exit is and probably stay quite close to that exit point, because as you're saying, your arms stop working, your legs stop working. If you're in the middle of a pool or a lake, you're going to get in real trouble. So know your exit point.
And if you have a flow, any kind of river movement, rip currents, be aware of the direction, etc. Swim parallel to the shore, things like that.
Basically what we're saying is cold water can be really dangerous.
Yes, it is. It's really fun and it can be done safely, but you have to put time and effort into the preparation.
This is it. We're also seeing a lot of swimmers come to lifeguarded beaches. They obviously want to wild swim, which is maybe something slightly different than what was happening in the red and yellow flags. We are always going to advise people to swim between the red and yellow flags. That is the safest place to do so. But if you do want to swim elsewhere, have a chat with the lifeguards before they do. Tell us what you're doing, where you're going, how long you're going to be, and we can keep an eye on from there as well.
Yeah. Always do that when I get to the beach. I always go say hi to the lifeguards in the truck, let them know what I'm going to be doing. Keep an eye out for me. I'm swimming off to the buoy. You never know if something's going to go wrong. Yeah.
It's always better to have that extra pair of eyes on you, always.
The lifeguards are always very friendly.
Nice to know.
So if someone gets into trouble at the coast, they call 999, ask for a Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard will mobilise the lifeguards and the lifeboat.
Yeah, exactly that. So if you were to see someone in trouble in the water, please don't be tempted to attempt a self-rescue. Quite often that results in us having to go to two casualties rather than just the one. So if you can, get on the phone, dial 999, ask the Coast Guards. The Coast Guards will then task a lifeboat, the Coast Guards or the lifeguards, depending on where it is.
Where's your favourite place to swim, Keri?
Ooh, good question. That's a very good question. I am a sucker for a sandy beach. I love a sandy beach. So honestly, if there's a sandy beach anywhere, that's my favourite place to go swim.
And we want to see people in the sea, having fun, enjoying the sea and the environment and doing it safely.